Ah, Bert, from Seattle, the self-proclaimed straight shooter. You call a spade, huh? Well, isn't that just adorable? You know, Bert, everyone loves the guy who thinks he's the truth teller, while conveniently ignoring the fact that maybe, just maybe, he's not as brilliant as he thinks he is. But sure, let's talk about whether you should change your attitude. Spoiler alert, yes, you should, but let's break it down, shall we? So, you think being direct is your badge of honor. How noble. You just say it like it is, don't you? I'm guessing this usually translates to something like, I'm not rude, I'm just honest, as you bulldoze through people's feelings like a toddler with a wrecking ball. You probably fancy yourself as a no-nonsense truth teller, but here's the real truth. No one's impressed, Bert. If everyone around you dislikes you, maybe it's not because you're too honest, but because you're just an insufferable jerk. Let me guess. You walk into conversations like you're the judge, jury, executioner, thinking you're blessing people with your unfiltered wisdom. In reality, what you're offering is just a garbage dump of poorly timed, unsolicited opinions. And then you wonder why people tend to avoid you, like they avoid those vegan, gluten-free, sugar-free dessert options at a party. Shocking, right? But let's get to the heart of your question. Should you change your attitude? Well, unless your life goal is to win the title of most annoying person alive, then yes, Bert, you should change your attitude. There's a huge difference between being honest and being just plain tactless. You know what being truly direct means. It means knowing when to speak up and when to shut up. There's this magical concept called tact. You might want to Google it, unless you're too busy telling it like it is. So here's some advice. Advice that you probably won't want to hear, because, let's face it, you've got this whole I'm just being real thing down to a science. But if you actually care about being liked, and let's be honest, Bert, you wouldn't be asking if you didn't care at least a little bit. You're gonna have to learn that not everything that crosses your mind needs to be said out loud. Let me give you some examples, Bert, because you seem like the type who needs a little help grasping basic social concepts. Say you're talking to someone who's clearly struggling with their weight. Oh, I can hear you now. Just calling it like I see it. You should really hit the gym more. Yeah, well, guess what? That person didn't ask for your expert opinion on their life choices. No one's handing out awards for most blunt, least considerate human. What you're really doing is hiding behind the excuse of honesty to avoid taking responsibility for being a social hand grenade. So, what should you do about it, Bert? How do you keep your so-called directness without alienating every human being you come across? Step 1. Learn some self-control. Every time you feel the urge to drop one of your blunt truth bombs, ask yourself this: is this useful? Is this helpful? Or am I just saying this because I like hearing myself talk? Newsflash: most of the time, people don't need your version of the truth. If they didn't ask, they probably don't want to know. Step 2. Timing is everything. There's a time and a place to be direct, and I guarantee you're picking the wrong time 90% of the time. Just because something pops into your head doesn't mean it's the right moment to say it. Maybe save your pearls of wisdom for when they're actually needed. Like, I don't know, when someone asks for your opinion, instead of dumping your unsolicited truth on everyone like it's confetti. Step 3. Ask yourself why you're so obsessed with being right. This might be a hard one for you, Bert. Why is it so important for you to constantly tell it like it is? What are you trying to prove? Here's a thought. Maybe if you stopped focusing so much on being the voice of reality and actually started listening, you might realize that people respect humility and kindness far more than your so-called honesty. Step 4. Recognize that it's not weak to care about how you make people feel. You seem to think that changing your approach would be some sort of betrayal to your no-nonsense identity. But let me clue you in. Real strength isn't about bulldozing people with your opinions. It's about knowing when to be firm and when to show a little compassion. You can still be direct without being a complete nightmare. In conclusion, Bert, yeah, you should absolutely change your attitude. Your problem isn't that you're too honest. Your problem is that you've confused being direct with being socially tone deaf. So, how about you try some humility? Throw in a dash of tact, and maybe you'll find that people don't hate you as much as you think. Good luck with that, Bert. You're going to need it.